I know a goal that you have is just to read more books. I get it. I'm there too. Endless TBR. I go into bookstores and then I buy more books and I just put them on top of the TBR. And it can be kind of defeating that the pages grow and time goes on and you get grayer and how are you going to get all these books read? Something I've been doing for probably the past 6 to 8 months is just kind of following a rule of 3. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about it so you can start making a bit of progress in your TBR and enjoy reading more. So here we go. So what I've been doing for the past 6 to 8 months is kind of going by my own rule of 3 that I simply made up. And it's every day that I'm going to read 3 chapters a day, or 30 minutes, or a short story. That's it. If I can do one of those 3 things, even if reading 3 chapters is 20 minutes, 10 minutes, that's fine. Because sometimes our life are filled with chaos and we can't really manage to put 30 minutes in. But it's really helped me make progress in reading books and, closing them up and putting them in the read pile, not the to be read pile. Now, that might be a bit arduous for a lot of people to say, man, 30 minutes, 3 chapters, a short story, like how do you get that done? And I want to talk about that because I think there's more room in our days to read than we really account for. I was lucky enough to go to Illinois State University, home of the Redbirds, and I was an English major. And my junior year, I don't know how I messed this up, but my advisor was like, you're good. Just take a lot of literature courses, your first semester, your junior year, and it'll be fine. It was not fine. I was drowning in books, or so I thought. From Madame Bovary to Crime and Punishment to The Awakening, Jane Eyre. I had all this literature to read. Was any of it science fiction? No. I was like starting to fall behind. And it's really hard to catch up when you start not reading, as an English major and you've got a lot of literature going on. I was even in a children's literature class and I had reading to do. Again, none of it science fiction. I went to my advisor, my English advisor, because I needed some advice. And I said, I have all these books to read and I just don't have the time. And I think it's crazy that all you professors schedule this for us as if they all get together and check with each other. I was 20 years old. My advisor, she said, well, where are these books, Ryan, that you supposedly don't have time to read? Where are they? I'm like, they're in my dorm room, Walker Hall. And she said, that's your problem right there. You have to carry the books with you. And she went on to tell me that there are times in our day where we wait, where we have a minute to grasp at a page, to put our eyes on it and simply turn it. And you will find that if you can do that, you will read much more. You'll actually, she said, read more than anybody you'll meet in life. And you can't just do it this semester or this year, but if you have a love of reading like I know you do, you'll do this the rest of your life. And it really has served me well. Whether I was working in Afghanistan, I was always reading on my Kindle. I was a teacher, and so I'd read on my breaks or my lunches, whatever it was. And then later on, the world just kind of expanded. You could get Kindles, you can get books on audio, you can use Libby to download audiobooks. Spotify now has audiobooks. So really, it's not an access issue most of the time. It's just our time because, we have these distractions like our phone, which I miraculously put away. Oh no, here it is. We have our phones and these distract us. Chaos sort of gets in the way of sitting to read. I would love to have my own library and my own recliner and I just sit back and just watch the hours go by. And I'll do that at night. My partner and I'll maybe watch one show and then we'll read, but sometimes we don't. But I think there's ways in your day to fit it in. And I just say, like, if you want to get a half hour in, there's usually 5 minutes you're waiting, 10 minutes you're waiting, or 15 minutes you're waiting. And if you can do 3 of those, 5, 10, and 15, it's a half hour. You can really start making progress. You can't wait for reading time. It is not like second grade. The reading we got done. Maybe you've got a chonker. I'm just pulling this out. Like, this is Ursula Le Guin's Earthseed, all of her Earthseed books. And they're illustrated, and I spilled coffee on it. I didn't return it. I'm not a tyrant. Half hour a day. Make that progress. 3 chapters. It's probably in that book longer than a half hour. Also, short stories are great. They're quick wins. They usually don't take, maybe they take a little bit longer than a half hour, maybe around that time, depends on your reading speed. But, if there's an author you really want to delve into, like Naomi Novik has a great short story collection. Alice Munro does. If you want to get into that, maybe there's like a best of sci-fi fantasy. They come out every year. You can just have that maybe in your car as a car book, and you can just get through a chapter, get through a short story, and you'll see that you will start reading so much more and finding those holes. Another thing I do is right now in Illinois, it is miserable. It is a smooth 1 degree Fahrenheit. I live near the lake, so it's like, don't go outside, you'll die. I usually try to get my 10,000 steps in. I'm not doing that right now. Why? I'm an indoor cat. Not a big fan of the cold. Not a big fan of the heat either. But when I try to walk my 10,000 steps, put in my audiobook, and I walk. And I get both done at the same time. And I'm able to get through maybe a short story. I can usually get through a short story there and back. And I can get through a lot of pages. And I should probably walk more. But if you want to read, you got to look for the holes that are in your day where you could just kind of sneak it in. You don't have to watch your kid's soccer game. You really don't. They're 6. What are we doing here? So that's my rant. That's my rant on 30 minutes a day, 3 chapters, or a short story. And I think if you try to just sneak that in, get in as best you can, and it might not be every day, you might not hit it, but it's better than going a week without reading at all, or a month, or a year, or a lifetime. Because I think we only change when we read. I think we only change when we read. And I want you to read as much as possible for as many days that you're here. And that's about all I have. If you've liked this, if this at all meant something to you, if you could just like and subscribe, it would mean a lot. And if you're looking for bonus points, if you share this, maybe you've got like a Facebook account or some sort of social media, I'd love if you shared this. I'm just trying to grow my little reading channel, and I just need your help. That would mean a lot to me. That's all I have. I'm Ryan McRae. I'm a voracious reader, hopeful writer. I'm glad you joined me today. And if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I want to hear what you have to say about this. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.